Hey everyone, welcome to the 2023-2024 Supper Club series. We are excited this year. We thought we'd start by just backing up and giving you a little bit of context in case you're new to Supper Clubs. We've been doing this, I think, this may be the 15th year that we've been getting together once a month. The idea was to create a chance for people to connect, almost like a book club for people that didn't have time to read a book, that we would, as clergy, as your pastors, we would do a little short video that would get you going on a conversation. So that's the idea. And it's been a wonderful chance to go deeper together. You know, there's lots of chances in our culture to have superficial conversations with people that don't really ever get very far. We're really hoping that these create a safe space and that you'll take the chance, the risk of being vulnerable with each other and not just sharing what's happening in your life, but you know, how are you feeling about what's happening in your life and where you're struggling and where you're joyful. And if you stay with your Supper Club over a few years, undoubtedly things will happen and you will have that connection to give you strength and community that's so important. If you decide to split, you know, the beauty of this is that you can change Supper Clubs each time if you like to, and that's a chance to get to know lots of people at Montview. So it works either way. Yeah. But it's been a great thing. There's more than 300 of you that are watching it. It also gives you a chance to connect with us. So we, you know, even though we can't be at your Supper Club, all these Supper Clubs, we feel like we're kind of coming into your homes, at least for a few minutes. So.
Yeah, and we hear from people that a church this size of 1,600 members, it is hard to find a place to connect always in a real way. So again, Supper Club is a great way to do that. This year's theme, which we're excited about, is about interfaith dialogue, learning about other faith traditions. And what we're going to do this year for the next 5 months is have a different religious leader from a different faith tradition, so each month. And the first month will be a religious leader from a Buddhist tradition, and then Judaism, and then Islam, and Hinduism, and a Native American religion. And so I think there'll be a great breadth of conversation, and above the door in going into our sanctuary are the words carved in the stone, a house of prayer for all people. And we do believe that this is one way of entertaining and fostering being a house of prayer for all people.
Especially these days with our world so complex and so pluralistic. There's, you know, we live in a world where we don't want to just tolerate other faith traditions. We really want to stand in our own faith, but also be open to learning, to growing, to being challenged, looking at the similarities that underlie our faith traditions. We're really looking forward to this series as part of expanding our own faith. We thought we would ask each of our leaders 3 questions. The first one is about orthodoxy versus orthopraxy. Those are fancy words for saying right belief versus right action. And it's about how does your faith navigate the importance of having your beliefs right and focusing on that versus what you do, a religion of practices. And so we'll explore all that. Second question, we want to ask them, what is their stated goal of their faith? We might think all faiths have the same goal, but of course they don't really. And even within Christianity, if you said salvation was kind of the word that we would use, what do we mean by that? That means we mean different things in different churches and different traditions. So the stated goal. And then the last one, we thought we'd ask them, what's one thing you wish were different about your faith tradition?
It's a great question.
Yeah, it's a way of being humble and saying, you know, none of us get it all right, and we would have thoughts on what we wish were different. In fact, we should answer that at some point for our own tradition. But we thought we'd explore that with them in terms of where do they wrestle with and struggle with their own faith.
Yeah, that's great. We have a couple questions for you tonight, and one is to begin by going around the table and talking about your spiritual childhood. What were you raised in or not raised in with your own faith? And so begin there and just share that story. And secondly, what attitudes or ideas were you raised with about other faith traditions? And so share that too to set up the conversation about interfaith dialogue.
And then we'll start with Buddhism in December.
Yes, we're going to have Reverend Diana Thompson, who is one of the priests at the Tri-State Buddhist temple. And she's wonderful, and she'll be a great dialogue partner.
It's going to be a good year.
Right.
All right.
Have a
fun.
great evening.
Bye-bye.